All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hawk Vision Podcast. I am your host, Chuck Hawkins, here to help you shorten the learning curve on your way to greatness. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe across all of your social media platforms, especially here at YouTube. More importantly, share this podcast with other visionaries just like you. Guys, we're doing something huge here. You've seen the numbers, they're starting to get out of control, and I don't even know if I'm ready to handle it yet, but we're going to speak that greatness into existence. We're working to be the premier location to help you bridge the gap to your personal and professional success. And I can't thank you enough for all the DMs, comments, and messages. Absolutely can't grow the show without you. Today's guest is so special. This is a special episode, guys. It's a hometown hero episode. Our guest has built an enormously successful business teaching healthcare systems, government agencies, colleges, and individuals alike how to thrive in the area of emotional intelligence. And when you hear those words, there's so many different areas, obviously, that it covers. And today we're going to break down a few of those. DB Bedford is an entrepreneur, speaker, coach, author, who I cannot wait for you guys to hear from, because this is an awareness and a skill that we can use everywhere, from relationships to day jobs, and quick run to Target even. From my hometown, Oakland, California, Mr. DB Bedford. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, my brother. Thanks for providing space for me, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. We've had a interesting background watching each other grow,
Yes, sir.
through this thing. And it's a pleasure to have you on here, man. Absolute pleasure.
I'm here for it, man. Let's do it.
Absolutely. So we're gonna jump right in, man. I want to spend a little bit of time on emotional baggage. What is it? How, like, I want to cover it all. We jumping right in. What is it? How does it keep us from accomplishing our goals? Because in the book, you talk about a phone number that pops up and it interrupts a conversation.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to talk about, defining emotional baggage and how it stops us, especially in business.
Yeah, that's a good one to lead with. So for me, I look at emotional baggage, right, is so one, like, let's turn it into like an analogy, right? Let's think about how you travel, right? So if you are someone who travels with multiple bags, right?
Yes.
It's going to slow your trip down. Right. You got to check them in, you got to wait in line, get them checked in, hope they ain't over 50 pounds, get them loaded up, then make your way, to your flight. Then when you get off the flight, right, you got to go to the carousel, wait, don't pick up the wrong luggage, right? Where someone who has a carry-on, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's flowing, same destination, right? But getting there a little bit faster, a little bit lighter, right? Less anxiety and stress about the baggage that the carry-on is the person with the carry-on has.
Right.
So every day when we engage with each other, there's stuff, right? That there's information that we take in, there's feelings that are developed based on our level of engagement. And most people unconsciously and sometimes consciously store that stuff, right? They just stack it, right, on top of each other. So it's like having an empty bag at the beginning of the week, but by the end of the week, the bag is super heavy because every time you've seen something, you just put it in there. You never sorted it out. You never said, do I need this still, whatever. That's why we got some people, carry bags just like my backpack. I just came back from Arizona, and I just literally, I'm gonna put it just for a visual. Backpack, you see, is wide open, like I just emptied it, because over time it just got miscellaneous stuff in it, right? That change and dental picks and just stuff, right? That I've been accumulating. But when I go to look for something in the bag, I can't find it because and I'm just always going through stuff. So at some point I got to empty that bag. So for my next trip, everything is clear. So emotional baggage from work, from your relationship, from your kids, from your friends, and the things that you feel about is stuff that you constantly, it weighs on you and you don't even realize it's heavy on you, right? until something really happens and triggers you. So I try to create a mindset, or I try to theme a lot of things with the EI to give people a visual. Because if I can get you to visualize it, then maybe you can remember that it's important, and then you can take action to do something about it. So I encourage people every single day to realize that emotional baggage is real.
Right.
And even though it sounds like something in theory, to take yourself through a process on a day-to-day basis to empty that bag, or at least every couple of days. And
Yeah.
if you don't realize you need to empty it, just think about how you feel. If you
Hmm.
don't feel, if you feel anything less than great,
Wow.
there's some baggage. Because you're supposed to wake up every day like this is the best day ever. Right? You're
Right.
supposed to feel like today's gonna be the best day ever. And
Like
if you
coming to
can't,
America. I am happy
yeah,
to
well,
be
yeah,
here.
good morning. But if you can't feel like that,
Yeah.
then you might think about what's holding you back. Like
Mm.
what's weighing on you? What are you thinking about? What are you concerned about? Right? What all that kind of stuff. So that's a long answer to a short question, but I want to put it in perspective.
No, that makes sense, because when I think about it, when I read the chapter, what stood out for me is, as entrepreneurs, one of the things that emotional baggage does is it makes you think about everything that you have to do, and then you stop enjoying the journey, right? Because you start thinking, oh, I got to make graphics today. I got to do content. I got to do this. I got to, have this meeting, draw up that contract. And then it becomes, it's less fun along the journey. But the baggage is just, from, like you said, it could be from relationship. It could be from, work. It could be from all these other things. So I think it's important to know what it is, which is why I wanted to lead with it. But then two, how do you empty the bag?
So let's try to make it something a little bit more not necessarily tangible, but something I think we all can agree on.
Sure.
So the stuff of the baggage is energy.
Okay.
Right? The energy that comes with the thought, right, that you have about anything. So you're like, I gotta make graphics, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Every time you say I gotta, right,
Yeah.
you just you loading up the bag, because gotta feels like a task.
Right.
But you can simply shift that I get to do this. I get to do that. And it feels better, because you know that it's a privilege to be
Right.
able to do that. It's an opportunity, right? And when you do this, something is great on the other side. You mentioned the phone call that I've talked about in the book.
Yes.
It was about basically receiving a phone call from one of my family members that is incarcerated.
Okay.
And the problem with the phone call is that I don't necessarily look forward to getting the call.
Right.
Right. And it can sound insensitive, but I'm someone who's been to jail before, so I know what it feels like to be in jail. But I
Right.
also know when I go to jail, like I do my own time. Right. I
Right.
don't want people to do time with me.
Right.
Right. And for one of my family members to, at the time, he was reaching out every chance he get, even though I tried to set the tone like, listen, I got a whole ass life out here, man. Like
Right.
I can't, I
Family,
don't,
kids.
and so when and we didn't really rock with each other like that when you were out,
Mm.
right? So
Okay.
now that you in, right, you want to anchor to me, you want to leverage, and I get it. Like I'm not mad,
Right.
but I don't have enough space for that energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so when I'm thinking it's that call, I get like trying to get prepared for it or whatever. And I
Yes.
almost didn't take the call,
Mm.
right? And that was the important part about the baggage. The space, the energy that I hold about the thought that is generated by him calling almost caused me not to answer. But when I answered the phone, it wasn't him. It actually was an opportunity.
Oh, wow.
So the point I was pointing out is that that's how subtle it could be, that you can miss an opportunity by having that bag full. When I should have basically, you say how you empty the bag, you process it, right?
Right.
Like you
Okay.
process what this thing is. And how do we process something? First, we got to realize it's something that needs to be processed, right?
Right.
It's
Right.
something that needs to be thought through, talked through, right? Some action has to be taken about it. And then you need to decide where you stand after you do that. And so I needed to say to myself, even though I had told him, look, I'm not trying to take this ride with you, but I've been answering the phone. I've been
Right.
sending stuff. So it's like a kid. I could tell my son, I'm not going to do that. But if I do it,
Right. It
he
chips
coming
away
back,
at your word. Yeah.
right? He
Chips
coming
away.
back. So it's the same thing. So I just had to, you know, recalibrate. So that's
Gotcha.
not something at the end of the day. That's not something that is holding that space for me, because we only have so much capacity on any
Yes.
given day. And I'll pause with this, but one of my favorite, things when it comes to, practicing emotional intelligence and being mindful of your emotional wellness is you do not have to set yourself on fire to
Mm.
keep somebody else warm, right? So
One
if
more
you're
time. You do not.
stop setting yourself on fire trying to keep other people warm,
Mm.
right? I'm this He ain't bringing no joy to me,
Right.
right? I get no
Right.
benefit from this conversation,
Right.
but in the end, he or she will. Now, this is different than the things that you want to do, right? And
Yes.
in general, we want to look out for each other. You want to do stuff. I'm talking about things that you don't want to do. Let's make it something that I think people really can think about. How
Sure.
many times have you been invited to something
Oh.
that you didn't really want to go to, but
I
you
got
say, I'll be
I
there
got
when
one coming up right
yeah,
now.
you like, when is it?
Yes.
Okay, right. Soon as somebody say, when is it? Right. That's the beginning of right. And then you look and you kind of, cower around like, you know what? I'm a CEO or whatever. You kind of make a micro commitment to it, right?
Yes.
And then as the date gets closer and closer and closer, you're starting to feel a little because you didn't really want to go in the first place. When you could
Right.
have just said, thanks for the invite, not gonna make this one, catch me on the next one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you went on and went against your best wish when you got there, and then you see all the reasons why you didn't want to go in the first place, right? It's all to try to
Yes.
what make somebody
Yes.
else feel better about the invite. The invite doesn't mean an invite is just that. It's like letting you know I got something going on, ain't welcome to come through, but it's not mandatory. It's not,
Yeah.
and people shouldn't be in their feelings about it. But this is kind of where when we're practicing emotional intelligence, there's a lot of things that you can keep in mind to keep you in. I guess the idea is to stay in a space, right? Holding this positive energy space for yourself so that you could be prepared to process life as it comes at you. Because
I
life
love
comes in
it.
hot, right? And
Yeah.
so if you're not conditioned, right? If all the molecules ain't flowing the way it's supposed to, right? If your mind ain't right, your spirit ain't right, your energy ain't right, then the littlest thing, right, will
Yeah.
knock you off your square. That's why we got some people at work, go to work and they're a problem,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because
Because
they're
it has
not
nothing to do with the job.
absolutely nothing, right?
Wow.
But that's where they're showing up at, right? So this is why this work is important. And if you want to be the best version of yourself, or I like to say, update your internal software and be the latest version of yourself, then you definitely want to consider bringing emotional intelligence to your life. You can't, there's nothing to lose.
Right.
It ain't gonna hurt you. It ain't gonna take away from nothing that you are doing. It is
Love it.
only going to add value, and it's going to make the people around you feel better, because you got blind spots and you got things that you don't even realize how you behave, how you respond, the energy you bring, because the number one domain to emotional intelligence is self-awareness. So, right. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Wait, so I
I
can
know I
let you
dumped a
go on
lot, man.
forever.
I've been
No,
juice.
it's
I got the ginger water over here, man. I'm on one.
I love it. I love you making me feel bad because I ain't got nothing but coffee. Um, wait, but you led off into that perfectly though, because I think part of that baggage is one of the other topics that I wanted to touch on. And it's not intentional baggage, but emotional parenting. I think we both grew up in that era of do as I say, not as I do.
For
And
sure.
and these kids, I mean, they have entirely too much information at their fingertips for that to work. So how can we be better at being parents and managing our emotions?
So free game, right?
Please.
So it all starts with your internal software,
Okay.
which is a combination of your beliefs, your values, and your life experiences.
Okay.
Those three elements is what governs you right now.
Yes.
So your belief about parenting comes from how you were raised.
Okay.
The first thing that we do is transfer that to our kids, right? That's got to do with their bedtimes, whether you think they should be looking at their tablet or not. If they playing the game too long, you need to get outside and get off that game.
Yes.
Well, 30 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Yes. Atari only had one cartridge, right? It was a slower game.
Absolutely.
Today, that's where they meet their friends at, right?
Mm-hmm.
They play them games, and they got friends in Japan and or people to connect with, and so
Right.
it's just different. So what I say is the first thing you got to realize is that I tell you this, like my oldest daughter, when she was about 15, 16 years old, maybe 14, 15, we're having a conversation, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm feeling like she's not being grateful for the life I've provided for her. I'm like,
Yes.
girl, you got your own room, got your own bathroom. You know, when
Right.
I was growing up,
Yeah.
me and your uncle had to sleep on the opposite sides of the bed. He slept one way, slept that way, right? I'm
Tell her
like, you don't even know
Brookfield
how
was
good you
different.
got it.
Exactly.
My daughter said, Daddy, you are right. I don't know how it is. This is all I know.
Mm.
So every time you say that to me, I mean, I understand, but it doesn't register because I don't know that life.
Wow.
What am I supposed to do with that? Like, I
Yeah.
can't do it, but except I was like, you know what? Thank you. Like,
Yeah, that's a
I didn't
shot
even
and
see that
gratefulness
one
at the
coming.
same
Like,
time. Yeah.
boom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
why do I keep, in other words, she's like, why you keep saying that to me? Like,
Mm.
I've always had
Yeah.
this.
My own
My,
room and everything.
my youngest son. Two things, and then we'll come back to what you're saying,
Sure.
or like make sure we clear it up. So that was one. Because talking about the beliefs in parenting, you said, how could we? I
Yes.
right now, here's the important part about that. Old school parenting, your child say something to you like that,
Yes.
right? First thing you want to do is smash, right? How you want to lead with authority about, I don't care about all that. What did I say, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
My youngest son, JR, when he was probably, I don't know, he was still getting in the booster car seat,
Okay.
right? He hated that booster seat. Almost every other time we would walk into the car, he'd be like, Dad, can I sit in the front?
Yeah.
Dad, can I sit in the front? Be like, no, man, get your little butt in the back, man, right?
Yeah.
He had a little Kindle at the time,
Okay.
right? Or whatever they call it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He can get on the internet, whatever it was. This fool Googled, how old do you have to be to get out this booster?
Wow.
Man, that fool said, Daddy. I said, what's up? He said, I'm old enough and big enough to get out this thing. I said, what are you talking about? And he handed me the Kindle. He said, see, I could be in the front or whatever it was. I was like, well, damn it. Well, shit, get in the front then. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah. Like,
saying?
what do you do? Oh my
But
God.
old school would have been like, bop. I don't care what that thing say. You
I
know what I mean?
said, yeah.
You'd have made him put some ketchup on it because you're about to eat that damn Kindle, right? So, two types of parenting, right? You either kind of an emotional coach or an emotional dismisser, right? Do
Wow.
you, right? Because we were raised, we're men. I
Yes.
can't imagine you feeling sad and
Right.
someone comforting you because you're sad. I
Yeah.
would imagine it was like, what? You better be,
Get
boy,
over it.
before I give you something to cry about.
All day.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
I remember when I first got to Brookfield, I was scared, right?
Mm.
It was not cool. It's called Brookfield Jungle for a reason.
Yes. Very much
I'm
so.
trying to get to the stove and it's rough. Like they just randomly come out of nowhere. You just come up the street and here they come and they ain't got nothing else to do but to look at you and be like, what's up, man? What's up, man? We live
Where
around
you
here?
from?
Like, woo, woo, woo,
Mm-hmm.
woo. And sometimes I get chased to the house in my early days.
Yeah.
My daddy didn't push me back outside, but you better get out there and fight, right? And I understand what he wanted me to do. Like he wanted me to stand up like a man.
Right.
The part that he missed is that I wasn't a man.
Yeah.
Right.
It's it's funny because I had, I told you several times that my dad's side is from Brookfield. And so on Alton Avenue, same thing, right? It's like to get to the store, you got what, 5, 6 streets and they all left turns and left and up, left and up, left and up. And it was the same thing because we didn't live in Brookfield, but when we went to my dad's side, it's every time I had to re-ingratiate myself. Like,
Yep.
every time. And the first couple of times he was like, "Nah, you got to go back outside." And I'm like, I'm only 5'8.5" now. You know what I mean? So can you imagine, at 12, I was like 3'9". I don't know.
Right.
And it was the same thing over and over and over. So I never tripped off of it like you just put it. He wants you to be a man because that's all he knows. Stand up for yourself
Right.
so that you don't have to keep going through this. And the part that we missed is we're not men yet. We don't have it.
And let's build on that,
Yeah.
right? So emotional dismisser. So if you never give an opportunity to feel, right?
Yeah.
Because you're told to get over it, push past it, it doesn't matter, whatever. And you never have time to learn about that. So then you just become an adult, right? The body keeps growing, life keeps happening. And so now I get in a relationship and I don't know how to be soft.
Right.
Right. I don't know how to have understanding as much because I didn't work on that part. But if you were raised by an emotional coach who was like, at least explain to you why you need to get back out there at some point. Because if you don't, they're going to keep taking advantage of you.
Yes.
So let's talk about you. Yes, you should be. The fear is okay. The anxiety is okay. Right. But the courage is what I want you to develop. Right. Now I'm being coached into it. All right. So I could work out all day and come back, do some push-ups and go we're ready for tomorrow's fight. Instead of throwing me back in there with no explanation. See, there's a big difference. You know what I'm saying?
So I keep taking my cornbred.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, this is what I'm up against. Let me do some push-ups. Let me stretch. Right. Let me go watch Karate Kid. Let me, so when I go back out, right now, I know that I'm leading with something, and then I can come back, and then I can get debriefed.
Right.
Right.
What you did good, what you did wrong.
Like when they tell you no is a piercing word.
Yes.
Right. To this day, reason why most adults cannot accept the word no because it hurt. Because the way you've been told no your whole life is just right. You can't look at it as the next opportunity, how people spin it. It's just no, it's like, ooh, it's like it messes with your self-esteem. It messes with it just messes with you. Like, no, what do you mean? Like,
yes.
So why is this important? When we talk about your internal software, and here's the catch. Most of us are operating off old beliefs, old values, and past life experiences. What does that mean? I like to say we need to spend some time updating our internal software. It's like when your phone and the computer be like, hey, you need a software update. What do most of us do, right? We be like, now or later, right? Most people push later.
Yep.
Until the computer starts going slow, phone starts glitching, then you like, okay, let me do this update. But why does it want you to do an update? Right?
Yeah. Because new information is available. Yeah.
It wants to get the bugs out. It wants to give you the latest version of this operating system. Well, what about yourself? Are you operating on the latest version of yourself?
Wow.
Right? Or are you still like, you know what I mean? You Windows 5. Like, what are you working from? And so when people are having unnecessary conflict, people are struggling to get that flow moving in their life, it is probably because they are making decisions, receiving information through an outdated system that is probably not working. It's not compatible with today's activities.
A while back, no, that was awesome.
That was freestyle. That was fresh off the press right there.
I love it. I love it. And that's how you can know that you spend time studying the craft, man. And that's, again, one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on, because not only is this a important topic, and it's something that I think everybody, especially my listeners, can learn from, but it's not something that a lot of men talk about. So to have you and I having this conversation is hugely important to me.
Right on, brother.
Absolutely. A while back, there was this meme going around. I know you saw it, where women were saying that they want an alpha man dripping in emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, what does that look like? And are women in general, do they know how to identify both an alpha man who's also emotionally intelligent?
I mean, he looks like us, right?
Fair enough.
He looks like he's like me.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted, right? Like, EI ain't about this warm and fuzzy lifestyle. It ain't about being punked. It ain't about not being. It's about understanding, right? So, man, listen, humans are fragile.
Yes.
Right? When you think about a package that comes and it says fragile, handle with care, the outside of the package is usually, it's wood box or it's padded real well to protect what's inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a warning label on it. And it's like that because if you drop, right, or mishandle the inside of it, you're going to break it. Right. You're going to mess it up, right? Most of us are like that. On the outside, we're wearing these labels. We're being tough. We're rigid. We don't care. We ain't tripping, all that kind of stuff. But everybody to the core has feelings.
Yes.
When they're not handled, and when I say our feelings are fragile, I don't mean fragile like a flower. I mean fragile like a bomb, right? Yeah. You got to make sure you know how to handle it. So an alpha man dripping with emotional intelligence is somebody who know they know they with the shit, right? Just because they can doesn't mean that they do. Right. You know what I'm saying? I could smack a person, or I could cuss a person out, or I could clap back, or I could do what all of
the above
low vibrating stuff that people choose to do. My strength comes in not doing it, but the respect comes in, I could do it.
Right. Giving you that pass.
But I choose not to, right? Now, the part of the things we got to watch out for, because sometimes you get fed up, or sometimes people will test you like, well, you know what? Maybe he ain't that tough, right? Maybe he ain't really, because he showed that. Because I mean, come on, I understand letting that go, but this, come on, man, like, woo. And so one has to be very secure in themselves in understanding. I was coaching somebody the other day, and it's very interesting because we will, especially for the culture, we will, find that one thing that gives us permission to act a fool.
Yes,
we're looking for that. We see. I wish
you would.
Type.
Absolutely.
But that is like the biggest setup for yourself that you could possibly do.
Right. And because somebody will.
You're gonna listen. One of these days, you're gonna have to be everything you said you are, right? And meaning you're gonna have to do that thing that you're talking about.
Yes.
And what I try to tell somebody the other day, I don't know what it's, something that's happened. They was mad, some riffing and some conflict and very personal. And their thoughts were that they wanted to go do something physical or do some damage, some property damage or whatever their thought was. And I said, man, that is a heavy response for a light situation. Right? It took me back to my probation days when we talk about use of force, right? You don't go restrain a young person and put them in cuffs and pepper spray them because they cussed you out.
Right.
You might want to, right? Because it's not that I don't want to, but that's not how you should respond to that.
Right.
Now, if you open this door and he jump on you like a spider monkey and try to put you in the headlock, then you whoop, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing, right? Or
Yes.
but if he just this. So I try to tell people, like, I got to take us back to elementary, right? Sticks and stones may break my bones, whatever that is, right? Like, and so back to the beliefs, and I know I went kind of all over the place, but
No,
this is
it's good.
when somebody disrespects you.
Yes.
The first thing you're drawing from is your belief about disrespect.
Mm.
And if you were programmed that disrespect, you don't let nobody get away with disrespecting you.
Right.
You gotta do this or you won't be respected. I come from that. Where I come from, if you let somebody disrespect you, right? Number one, you don't know what they're gonna do next. Number two, the whole community know, and they gonna laugh at you. You feel like you'll be a punk, right? Like it just like your self-esteem is like, whoa, so you got to be a monster to let everybody know. But that's when in my 20s. That's old. That's old programming. What I look like at 47, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you said something slick. Soon, next time I see you, you know what I'm saying? Say it again when you see me.
Right.
Well, here's the reality though, Chuck. That's your opinion. You don't have to like me.
Absolutely.
You cannot like me. You cannot respect me. You could think I'm weak. You are entitled to that. Like, actually, what you think about me is none of my business.
That part.
But what do? We take it personal because that's the belief that we've been programmed to. And so this conversation, I think, is really around when you go back to the parenting things that we left off at, whether it's parenting, whether it's professional, whether it's your money, whatever it is, it really would serve you best to think about what is your belief about the situation that you're in? Where did that belief come from? And how, here's the EI part, how do you feel about it? What feelings come up when you think about this said thing? And it's stored somewhere because we came here with a blank slate, right? We came here with a blank slate, and from the time since we were born, people were pouring information into us, right? You didn't know your mom was your mom or your dad was your dad until after a while you kept opening your eyes and this same person was here. So they must be the caregiver. You must be cool. Because every time I wake up, you in my face like, goo, goo, gaga, goo, baby. And then you get, and you start to learn who your tribe is.
Right.
But you don't come out knowing, it's the people who stay there and show up. And so the people around, even today, right? And this teaching about entrepreneur, right? You're only going to be as successful as the people you keep getting information from.
Yes.
Right. So if everybody's on, not to stereotype anything, but like if you're on Section 8 and everybody you know is on Section 8, and that's the thing, when somebody tells you an opportunity over there, the first thing you're going to do is like, I don't want to give up my Section 8.
Yes.
Right. Because everybody else got it. And you're like, I only pay this much. But you don't even know if you let go of that, there's a world of opportunity over here for you. And on top of that, let somebody else have the experience now. Like share the opportunity.
To pay less. Wow. So what's the hardest part about being the EI guy, right? Because you're highly visible. You got ambassadors now ready to spread the word, the teachings. What's the hard part about being DB Bedford that keeps you up at night about the business side of it?
Let me answer that too. Let me give you a hybrid response on that.
Sure.
Because before you put business, my thought was forming. The hardest part of it is getting people to believe how important this is. That it's not another marketing, get rich quick. It's not I'm not trying to come up off you, right? I'm not
it's not one of those Instagram courses, right? That everybody's buying.
But I got to give it to you on Instagram because that's where the platform is at. So the hardest part is to create the distinction of the value in who you could become if you embrace this.
Right.
From the business side of it, kind of similar, but not to be able to stay relevant, right?
Yes.
So I knew in 2015, well, I learned about it in 2010.
Okay.
By 2015, I decided it was something I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I knew then by my research that it wouldn't be long before more and more people are talking about it. Not that it wasn't, it already had like a 20 plus year history,
Sure.
right? But so I didn't make this up.
Correct.
But in the Black and brown community, I definitely didn't see any thought leaders. And
Absolutely.
specifically in the Black community, I didn't see any.
Yeah.
So my strategy was to become an authority in it as fast as I can.
Okay.
My brother Tony Gaskin told me that directly.
Yes.
Was like, bruh, you got something, but you got to write your first book.
Mm.
So that's what made me write the first book. I didn't consider myself an author. I just knew I needed to get people to believe
Gotcha.
that I could be the person to get you this information, right? I looked at it like the dope game, right? Whoever got the connect is the man. So I
Absolutely.
wanted to have to connect with the information and demonstrate how it could be beneficial. So from a business standpoint, and my business is centered around big organizations.
Yes.
There's other people that can come in with the science part of it, the degrees,
Yeah.
their sites more corporate-y feel. It has all the check boxes.
Yes.
I don't have that,
Yeah.
right? So how do I stay relevant, right? How do I put my album out without
Without a deal.
selling,
Yeah.
and without selling my soul to compromise how I get down? Because you've experienced it and other people experience this. Hands down, if you take my EI course and
Yeah.
you take another EI course, I'm not going to say whose is better, but you will know the difference.
You will know I'll say whose was better. I will say there's a reason I own this book, because I don't, I fully believe in one, I fully believe in participating and supporting my people. But two, I think we've been around long enough to know who believes in it and who cares. Right. And one of the things that I've noticed from your courses is that you actually care. You interact with your people. And that's why you have so many healthcare organizations that partner with you, because they understand that on a granular level, the people feel what you're saying. Because in healthcare, the beautiful thing about healthcare organizations is the people that are in the positions to serve and help care for others come from the community where the people go to the hospital at, right? So when you talk about being from Brookfield, say a particular Bay Area hospital, they understand that very well, right? Because half the housekeeping staff grew up there, or they from 82nd, or they from the Dubs or something like that. So I think that's why yours resonates, because you're coming from where the people were actually at. And we can believe, if people know your background, your story, we can believe that this must work, because he's no longer that. Now he's this. So I think that's why it's so impressive. And that's how you're able to stay relevant. It's because you rock with the people, man.
Man, I mean, that's all I know, right? You know what I'm saying? I come from that. And most importantly though, Chuck, like I enjoy, like there's nothing. So I just come back from Arizona.
Yeah.
And I promise you, it's not uncommon for me to be out and somebody pulls up on me and be like, dude, like, thank you.
Wow.
Right. So I like to call it that emotional currency, right?
Yes.
That holds more weight than money itself. And I'm walking down away from my gate. I'm on the phone.
Okay.
And this brother goes, DB. Now we all got masks on, right? But he recognizes me. And the brother pulled up on me and he was so sincere.
Wow.
About the work what I meant to him when he was younger. And he got to be in his, he's almost 40 now, right?
Yeah.
And he just wanted me to know, right? I couldn't really remember oh, you know what? Damn, now I remember.
He's like, it just clicked.
Ah,
Now you gotta hit it. You
ah,
gotta hit it when it's over.
I didn't even get his number because he all he wanted to do
Wow.
was tell me how
Wow.
important I was to him and that he should have listened, but he remembered everything I told. But I was on the phone and he just.
Oh man.
But now I know exactly who he is. That's
Wow.
crazy. Okay. Anyway,
We
being
got to be able to
connected.
find it. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll the universe will bring you back to me.
Absolutely.
The thing about it is being able to connect with people and people go, I was about to do this.
Mm.
And I thought about you, so I did that.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Wow.
How it sends chills down my spine. Even think like my arms right now is just like what? Or
Yeah.
someone recently was in the East Coast,
Okay.
comes in my inbox and is like, hey, listen, I got a situation. It's 4th of July. My neighbor's off the hook. They just be loud. They just like, what do you think I should do?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
That's powerful, man. You know what I'm saying? To
Yeah.
be able to give guidance to folks because they believe in me.
Right.
Like they trust me with what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So part of the hard part, if one want to call it hard, is making sure you maintain that level of respect because
It's a big responsibility.
it's exactly
Yeah.
it's heavy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing that makes it lighter for me so it doesn't become baggage is I accept it as my assignment.
Mm. I
Right? So
love it.
this is my assignment. Therefore, the universe will conspire to make sure I'm taken care of, even if I don't think I'm being taken care of, because it's not about me. So I have to be okay for a period of time because of what it does for others. Because see, when they are better, guess what happens? Then they make their tribe better,
Yep.
right? They're
Absolutely.
taking more care of the people they're in love with, right? And people are more in love with them. So that's why I do what I do, and that's why I am so committed, and that's why I walked away. It's why I gave up after 17 years, detached myself from my dream job.
Wow. And
That
most
was my
people will
dream
never do
job.
that. Most people will never do that. Regardless if the business is doing good, they won't walk away from the
I
security.
didn't even have a business. It
Wow.
wasn't like, no, I didn't. Man, listen, I ain't never said this really public, but I'm gonna say this. You get this exclusive right here,
Let's
right?
do it. Let's do it.
I never really talk about this. So for those who don't know, I work for the Alameda County Probation Department.
Yep.
The very first time I was arrested, I was 13 years old. I got caught with 52 rocks of crack cocaine and was on the news when task force was at its peak. We was grinding out a house on Maddox Ave, and there was a bust. It was a raid. So I get arrested with a lot of people, not just me, right? That's what happened to happen.
Absolutely.
Wasn't my dope. I was grinding for somebody. Let's keep it real, right?
Of course.
I get sent to camp,
Okay.
right? Which is within the Alameda County Probation Department.
Sure.
I do 10 months. I get out. I'm out 2 weeks. I'm right back hustling. I get busted again.
Wow.
So then I turn right back around and go to Los Cerros, right? Which is now Camp Sweeney for a year. I get out, get busted again. I go to the youth authority for a 90-day observation. I used to do 90-day obs back then, right?
Yeah.
Come out. Then I'm out for a little bit. Then I catch an adult case, right? And then I catch another adult case, a weed case, a pistol case, another weed case, another, it's like some high-speed chase stuff. Then the case of my life where I lost my temper, tried to take this dude's life over something very trivial.
Yes.
In my trainings, you learn more about that, but I want to paint a picture here. So my first part of my life was involved in the probation department on the other side, right?
Mm.
Then I was given an opportunity, right, along the process with the judge who was over my case, gave me an opportunity, got my felonies reduced to misdemeanors, gave me an opportunity to go back and work for that same probation department. This qualifies it why I'm saying my dream job, right? Didn't grow up wanting to be the probation department, but to be in a
Right.
place where I did time at, to go back and work side by side with the officers that was there when I was a young person,
Wow.
and then promote over every last one of them. At the top of my career, I ended up working out of class as the assistant superintendent of juvenile hall, which made me everybody's supervisor.
Right.
Everybody. And this was a short period of time. Here's the thing I never talked about. The reason why I left in that journey in leadership, and you work in a union environment, right?
Yes.
Union people are a trip. Not them all, not all of
Look,
them,
look, hold on. We love the union people,
but
yeah,
everybody knows. I
y'all
don't work for
extra.
nobody, so I can say it, right?
They
But
extra.
y'all, but anybody listening with this knows what I'm talking about. The only person that gets offended, you're the one we're talking about,
And you
right?
need this course.
Because unions, right? They just rep, right? You just want to make sure your people are not being mistreated and it's fair. You're not lawyers, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You feel me? Like sometimes union people think they lawyers, but anyway. So you got this small group of people that cannot get over the fact that I bubbled so hard in that space.
Yes.
So they crying, they whining every little thing. DB this, DB that. He get to do this, he get to do that. Why he this? All that stuff. I'm promoting. I'm making way. Everybody who connected to me, I'm helping them get promoted.
Yes.
They mad, talking about I'm just taking care of my people. And here's the difference for me than other people. I am saying, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm not politicking, right?
Right.
We were in a big all suit meeting one time, and somebody tried to front me off in front of the chief and be like, it seemed like if you ain't on DB team, like you don't get no opportunity and this and that, this whatever, right? Chief looked at me like, I said, thank you, chief. I said, aren't you one of the same people who said you don't like me? Because everybody knows this,
Right. Right.
And so if that's the true statement, let me ask you something. Why would I have somebody who doesn't like me, who doesn't trust me, who doesn't believe in me working directly for me? How is that going to work? Right?
Yeah.
The people that I have around me, because we're not saying they can't do the work.
Absolutely.
They could do the work and we have a relationship.
Yep.
You should consider having better relationships if you want to grow in anything in life. The room was like, this fool a fool for saying that, right? Because who says that?
Right. Especially
like,
in a corporate environment. Who says that?
I'm like, yeah, I'm checking my people. Of course I am. Because I know that when I need something done, they're going to do it. Why? Because they got my best interests.
Yes.
They want to do it. I don't even got to ask. They looking, they asking me, what else can we do? Yes, I want those people around me. Who wouldn't?
Yep.
So speed up the story. I know we run out of time. Basically, every chief over my 17 years favored me. They heard about the guy. They would give me special assignments, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
The last chief that came in was sent there to put a stop to that.
Wow.
Right. The board of supervisors got tired of the yang. It got political. So she came in to do that. So she came in and leaned on me very, very hard. Not that I couldn't handle it. I received it is that I know I didn't do anything. I know I'm doing everything I was supposed to do. But if I'm getting treated like this, then the universe is shifting. The energy is shifting because I am an asset. I'm not a liability.
Right.
If you keep talking to me about things that are liability, I need to get out your way. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? So I believe in I'm gonna pause right here, right? This one, another one of I got a ton of favorite ones. I'm gonna pull from my files. Old wise man once said, but and this shit sends chills too. Old wise man once said, a bird is never concerned about the branch that it lands on. Because the faith is not in the branch, it's in his wings. The bird don't care if that branch break. He may go down some, but he just gonna
catch it.
He gonna get back, right? So I believe in my wings. Absolutely. If I did that for that department, I could go somewhere else and take my talents, or I could do it for myself. My
Absolutely.
life is not, I made the department. Department didn't make me.
Yeah.
Right. I got up every day and I try to tell people, when you apply for a job, when you're doing something, it's a two-way process.
Right.
The Kaiser or whoever is not just giving out jobs. They have a vacancy, whether it's Chevron or Clorox or
Yes.
whoever, there's a vacancy. And they need the best person to fill that vacancy. So it's two-way. But most
Yeah.
people come in like, like they're doing you a favor. No, this is a business. Like, I got what you need. You say you need what?
Exactly.
I got you.
I got that.
I got you. Look no further.
Right.
If this what you need, right? And then check, you know what I'm saying? Check my traps and check me out and see if I am who I am. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
So for myself, homie, I'm like, it's time to serve. I've done a lot of good work. I've served thousands of people. I'm not going to stay anywhere where I'm not appreciated. Yeah. And that's relationships, that's business, that's friendships. It doesn't matter. So I went back so I could just create my own value. And that's what you see, right? And that's the results.
And now you have celebrities, as ambassadors. Now you've helped people all over the world. Whereas you started with this incubator where you were able to give back to people that came from a similar environment. And that's, and just with my corporate hat, I'm thinking it makes sense, right? We got a problem child over here, problem youth. Oh, let's send DB, because automatically they had that relationship. They can, understand each other. But now that you understand it, that the universe was shifting, that the alignment, the energy was all shifting, you are now in a position to help way more people. And the best part about it is when you talk about healthcare organizations or universities or government agencies, whatever it is, the way that you're helping these people now, they can not only be better employees or bosses or managers, but they can go back and be better friends. They can go back and be better parents. Like, that part is just so awesome to me. So we got three more, and then we'll get ready to wrap up. The one that I wanted to touch on is, we both saw, not too long ago, your boy Bill Huxtable got out of jail, and social media immediately parted into two camps. Right. And so I don't want to necessarily touch on that because it's a whole nother bag, but how do we practice emotional intelligence on social media?
Situational awareness, man.
Okay.
Right? So situational awareness, in short, is quick assessments. Is this energy that I should engage with, or is it energy I should give space to? If the goal is to have positive energy, have a positive day, when you see things that are negative or low vibrating, you just decide not to engage. But even deeper than that, people should really ask themselves this one question before they get involved. Okay. What does this have to do with me? Right? Simple. So I don't have any really much more to say about Bill Cosby because it ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, absolutely nothing to do with me. Like, yeah. I don't really have, like, should he stay? Should he this, whatever. I don't spend my life, and this goes back to people's belief, I'm not in the business of trying to hold people accountable. Yeah. Right? Unless you work for me, right? Or unless you're my kid, right? That's what we're partners. But the general world, like, I don't need to hold Bill accountable. Right. I don't need to hold the ladies accountable. And I don't have an opinion whether it's right or wrong, right? Like Scarface say, who am I to judge a man? I'm a man myself, right? And people forget that, just like you talk about the Olympics girl, right? With her smoking weed. Like, come on, what did you do in your 20s?
That part.
Right? Yeah. Come on, like, was it bad timing? Yeah. Absolutely. Is the world looking at her, right? But everybody can come with what coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? But that's why I made that post the other day. People who couldn't even walk a mile in your shoes is always quick to point out the scuff marks, right? Right. Can't none of y'all, everybody speaking of her, none of y'all can't beat her.
So right? You can't beat her.
You know what I'm saying? You can't beat her running, right? At you all. Ain't even in a position, right, to talk about. You can't even run as fast as this girl. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
What do you matter? You know what I'm saying? So like,
and even on top of that, my mom is still here. Like, I don't know what that pain feels like.
Exactly, man.
I don't know what that pain feels
easy
like.
On each other, man. A lot of us are so quick. Like, see, I
Yeah.
told you Chuck ain't cool. He got his little podcast, right? Because you may be at the gas station and somebody push up on you wrong, and you might be in an argument, and somebody who know you observed the argument, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden they done spent it in like you this and that, right? Because this is the world we live in.
Yep.
Right? It's the world we
Absolutely.
live in. And what'll happen? All of the spectators are quick to be like, see, right? And this is why, whatever. But this is why. It's important. I know you got two more.
Yeah.
Because people spend more time looking out the window than they do looking in the mirror. Because it's easier.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, I don't gotta look at my stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. Number two.
Right. No, that real quick. I love that one because I had a conversation with someone, and regardless of opinions on the actual case, this is what I landed on. I said, you know what? I think everybody that has a comment about this wishes, if they were in the same situation, wishes that they could afford a lawyer that could find that technicality. And that's where they were like, "Ooh," I was like, exactly. So I don't, you know, it's not my job to judge, hold accountable, all that. I have my beliefs or whatever the case is. But I will say that everybody that has a family member facing a charge wishes that they could afford a lawyer that could find that technicality. And that was, kind of where I ended on that one. So jumping back in, you've written books, and you touched on this a little bit earlier. You've written books, taught classes all over. When you hear people have that revelation, do you still get the rush? Like, does it still kick in?
Every time. Like it's the first time.
Wow.
There's nothing like giving a human an aha moment. Because they already got hell information. They're very smart in a lot of other areas of their lives, right? So that's the thing. I'm no smarter than anybody. This is just my concentrated focus. And it's an important element of humanity, right? That the leverage that I have is that I could bet that you've spent little or absolutely no time developing this skill.
Right.
I could almost bet on it.
Right.
So when they have an aha moment, is because of all the things they've learned and all the places they've been. It's like, shit, I never even thought about that.
Right.
I never even realized that I was making decisions based on my beliefs. Because when you hear beliefs, a lot of times you think religion.
Right.
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 I didn't know that I really got a belief system, that I have a thought that turns into a belief, that turns into an emotion, that makes me take action, and then I get the results. Right. Yeah. So I can believe, my man Steve Bacon, calls it belief theory. So as soon as you think about something, you experience something, boom, then you get a feeling behind it. You know what I'm saying? Or, excuse me, as soon as you see something, you think about it, a belief is come up behind, like, what do you believe about this?
Right.
And then that belief turns into the emotion that causes you to take the action, and then you get whatever results come from that. So if you don't like the results that you're getting,
wow,
you reverse engineer it, right?
Yes.
You start working. Okay, what action did I take? What did I feel about it, right? What did I believe about it, right? All the way back to the original thought. But who taught you that, right? Who broke that down to you, right? There's even right now, my wife just did this to me last night.
Uh-oh.
Right? No, this, I'm transparent. That's another thing that helps. We were talking. My wife at times, like, we'll be talking about something. Okay. And the first thing she will do is interject herself and be like, yeah, but I wouldn't, I don't do it this way, or I would never do that, whatever. And I would be like, but babe, we're not talking about you. We're talking about them.
I like that you did the you.
Right. You got
to soften that up.
You. But that was irritating her.
Yes.
Constantly telling her that. But she never said anything. And then last night she took the opportunity to say, you know what, babe? This will probably help you understand, right, why I do this.
Okay.
As an empath, somebody that always feels for other people, the first thing that I do is feel for them, and then I feel for myself, and I'm trying to process it through myself because I feel so connected to what I just seen or what I just heard.
Wow. Wow.
I won't do that again, babe. Right. This is
Mm,
why in the EI space, we talk about having the open-minded approach, right? OMA, open-minded approach. Because when you have an open-minded approach, you're not seeking for right or wrong, good or bad. You're seeking for understanding.
yeah.
Now that I understand that, I will never say that to her again.
I love it. I love it. So we've the entire conversation is kind of wrapped around this last one that I want to touch on. But if you could spend a little bit of time around behavior detection, right? Because one of the things that I do, so I'll inject myself, right, is my wife and I often have conversations, and one of the things that I tell her is that she has to manage her expectations because you tend to want people to do things the way you would do them. And my thing is, how do they normally act? Right? If you normally know how they act, process, you know, how they what triggers them, why are you expecting them in this escalated situation to do something different? So can
Mhm.
you spend a little bit of time about behavior detection?
So for me, when I put that out there, behavior detection, I think it's a opportunity,
Okay.
right, to see how people conduct themselves. And I think the more you learn about behavior, when it keeps showing up, right, you're not shocked about it, right? You're not,
Right.
it doesn't knock you off your square because you've seen it before, but you actually seen it. And so to me, it's just this opportunity to just constantly observe those around you so that it's like you're studying, like case studies, right? So that
Yes.
you can better engage with that person, because the goal is to try to get positive outcomes,
Right.
right? In engagement, right? So, whatever the case, if I work with somebody and I know that every time they come to work in the morning, the first 30 minutes, right, they got a
Yeah.
mood and attitude, but if you give her till 9, she'll warm up.
Right.
Instead of trying to engage with her, because I'm not here to try to change her behavior, right? But since we're going to be here till 5 anyway, I'll reserve my questions and stuff until then, if
Right.
possible.
Yeah. Till
If
after
I
the
have
coffee
to,
kick
though,
in.
right? And if I have to, I will come and say, I know this is that time that you kind of take to whatever. And
Right.
so, but this is a little bit pressing, so I need you to take a look at it, whatever, right? But acknowledging that I see you. So to me, in the simplest form of behavior detection is just this theory, notion, skill, idea that
Yes.
you intentionally are observing people's behavior, but not to judge, not to punish,
Mm.
right? Not to, because that's another thing, right? Like a lot of us, because when you were little, if you grew up in the 70s, right? 70s, 80s, you got that ass whooped, right?
Yes.
You did something wrong,
Often.
right? If you didn't have good grades, right? It's like, these are bad grades. That was
Yeah.
a bad thing. So here's another one of those belief things that it's hard, and everybody across the board probably experiences this. All of your life, you've been taught that's either good or bad,
Wow.
right or wrong. And when it's bad, right, and it's wrong, you were taught to punish,
Yes.
which is why we cut people off, which is why we want to talk shit about people when they do something wrong. This is why they want to hang Bill, right? Because in their mind, he did something wrong, and wrong means punish.
Absolutely.
But if you seek for
Absolutely.
understanding, right, you start to try to figure out what was behind that. How did we
Yeah.
even get here in the first place?
I read another resource. I wasn't cheating on you, bro, but I read another resource on emotional intelligence a while back, and they talked about accepting that change is around the corner. And as soon as I saw the title of the chapter, I was like, "That's getting ready for the prepared for the switch up."
Yeah,
So, talk,
yeah.
talk to me a little bit about that. What about making sure that people are aware for the switch up?
Yeah, thanks for that, man. There's tons of stuff out here on emotional intelligence. I order stuff. I just ordered. I got a whole. If it wasn't so far, I'd show you. I like to be real. And so I got a whole
Absolutely.
little booklet set I just bought on emotional intelligence. I study the craft. That's what I do.
Yes.
Probably the simplest way to bring that down is how I talk about stress.
Mm.
It is my belief in the practice that I have that stress is usually activated when your expectations do not match reality.
Okay.
So what you expect to happen didn't actually happen. So you get to tripping, right? You expected somebody to behave a certain way. You expected that money to hit the account. You expected your manager to be respected. Whatever it is, you had an expectation. When the expectation wasn't met, it caught, because stress is like the cousin of anxiety and frustration and all that kind of stuff. It gets activated.
Yeah.
It could be simple as waiting on the BART train. It says it's gonna be here at 7-Eleven. By 7:10, you like, because you're anticipating it. If it doesn't come at 7-Eleven, you're gonna start tripping. 7:12, 7:13, 7:14. And instead of taking into consideration that maybe something happened, you start talking about, I ain't late in the bus, why I don't catch the bar, whatever, and go down to the bar station person to complain, whatever. Right? So this thing about accepting the change, number one, change is inevitable.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna happen. Nothing stays the same. And so if you really believe that, when people do switch, I say stay emotionally prepared for people to switch up on you. Yes. Right. I'd like this podcast conversation to go smooth. Yeah. In the last minute, you could drop a something that I do not like. Right. Right. But because I understand, even you could switch up on me. Yeah. But you're not switching up on me. Something's going on with you. Yes. I could receive that, right? Because I know it's possible from even you, right? Yeah. Now, there's a great chance it may never happen. Correct. But I know it's possible. It's possible, right? Yeah. It's possible. I could see you out one day and you don't even speak. But it could have nothing to do with me. Something really heavy could be going on. And you kind of just looked right through me. Right. Right? You just you seen me, but you couldn't even muster up to explain what was going on with you. Yeah. So behavior detection, I know that's not normal. Right. So I take into consideration. So matter of fact, instead of getting mad, instead of calling my people and saying you acting funny, yeah, I hit you in a day or so and be like, man, I noticed, I seen that you good. You know what I'm saying? Anything seeking understanding. So if you recalibrate yourself and step into the day, understanding that and knowing that this is how it could possibly go, it just makes it easier for you to engage on a positive level. And again, just as a reminder, I don't know when a person will come and hear this part of the conversation. We're not talking about being soft. Right. We're not talking about letting people get away with stuff. We're not talking about getting, because that kills me when people be feeling like they're letting somebody get away with. Man, who are you? Right? Like what? Like old school. Who died and made you boss? Like, why are you the equalizer? Right? Oh, you're the equalizer, right? Like, what is this? Right? Why not just observe what happened, learn from it, so that you can be better, so you can influence people around you? Because we all just try to get through this life. You know what I'm saying? Right. And enjoy as much as possible, right? We're trying to work past our traumas. We're trying to learn new things. We're trying to have healthy relationships. We're trying to get that bag. We're trying to, be the best and latest version of ourselves. At least that should be the goal. Now, if that's not the goal, then this is not for you, right? If it's not the goal, and I accept that, right? Absolutely. Because I'm going to end with this. I always say that, right? But I'm really in with this, right? The law of opposites is real, right? If there's an inside, there's an outside. Right. Up, down. If you walk a mile that way, you ain't getting back unless you walk a mile back this way. Correct. Right? Which means that when there's good, there has to be bad. So there has to be the homeless guy on the corner. So there's a polarity. Right. You would know the difference, right? Yeah. You just got to be thankful that's not your assignment. Right. But even that person can complain about no shoes till you see the man with no feet. Right. This life is designed like that. Right. So the conversation varies different depending on where you at. But the ultimate goal is to move in grace. Right. You know what I'm saying? Be thankful for what you do, for the problems you don't have. Right. Yeah. And spend the time, because this moment right here is all we have. Right. And make the best of it, because we can cut this Zoom off. It'll be the last time we ever see each other again, right? Yeah. That's how life do us. I'm talking about I'm about to go somewhere today. It'll be my last ride.
Right.
Not to live in fear, but to realize you don't even got time for that low vibrating. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I need to spend my time doing something better. So pause.
Man, I gotta say that you it's rare that I'm speechless, obviously, I talk for a living, but I always feel better when you and I talk, whether it's at a day party or whenever whatever we're able to connect, even on phone, whatever. I always feel better because I feel like um, I'm not by myself in this thing. You know what I mean? Like we know that belief systems, whether it's just for entrepreneurship or whether it's, EI or marriages, kids, whatever, belief systems are so important. And to talk to someone like yourself that understands, even on a deeper level, that the processing that information is like a 24/7 job is comforting, but it's also encouraging, man. So I always want to thank you for spending time with us, man. Let everybody know, one, what's next for DB and I Never Worry, and then two, where everybody can find you online.
Well, basically, I Never Worry is online. You just put in I Never Worry and it'll come. Instagram is the same, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. I mean, everything is I Never Worry.
Let me find out you doing TikTok dances, man. That's another conversation.
No TikTok dances, right? But I'm trying to find my space. That's where audience is at. So I'm trying to find my authentic space there, right?
Got you.
And I haven't quite found it yet, but you can go check me out. It's like I Never Worry 1, man. You'll see how I'm trying to find my way there, right? I don't got no followers yet, but when they discover me, things are changing.
Absolutely. Game will change.
What's next for me? So in this last 5 or 6 years, where I've been doing a lot, right? So I've been having stuff over here, stuff over here, stuff over there, stuff over there. And now I've decided to repackage what I'm doing as an entrepreneur. You need to make sure you keep reinventing yourself so you can stay relevant. Got to keep the relevance score up.
Yes.
I'm introducing the language of emotional wellness into my conversation, right?
Okay.
Wellness seems to be more welcoming, right, than intelligence, right? Some people
very smart. Yeah.
Not that I'm changing, I'm adding, right? You'll hear me talk more about wellness more, powered by the emotional intelligence. So I am getting ready to launch in August a brand new program for my corporate side, business side, and for individuals. It'll be the same package, just depends on where you get it from.
Nice.
Where you experience one of my proprietary presentations, right? With that, you get access to my 30-day online wellness program, which is the remix of the book of EI Secrets that you just showed, right? Where when you enroll every day for 30 days, you'll get a 5-minute or less video, right? They're on a drip schedule. You only get one a day, right? So that you can sit with that before you get the next one. And I'm going to do lunch and learns on Wednesdays where I come on live. So no matter where you are, you get a live opportunity. I'm going to do a micro presentation on one of the many things like we talked about today. And then the floor will be open for people to bring me their real life stuff to process it. So when you join my program, that's how we do it. We're going to give you the core fundamentals and understanding of EI. We're going to give you the wellness part, the strategy. If every day over the next 30 days, you are taking in a 5-minute video specifically to which you'll learn, the strategy is that you'll keep going after that, right?
Absolutely.
Form the habit. And then you can check in weekly to help process it. And that's going to the new moving forward and coming out in August until and beyond. But that's where I'm going with it. And I'm excited, right? Because it gives a person a fair shot, a fair opportunity, right? To expand their emotional wellness and increase their emotional intelligence by yours truly.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been rocking with the great one, DB Bedford. Yours truly, Chuck Hawkins, here at the Hawk Vision Podcast, teaching you about emotional intelligence. I hope this interview was informative. Hope that we added a smile to your day, but most importantly, we've hoped that we've helped you shorten the learning curve with emotional intelligence. Make sure you order that book. Guys, listen, the Patreon support is coming soon. A lot of exciting, extra exclusive content coming there. So if you want to support the show, have one-on-one questions answered with me, and so much more stuff is coming. So be prepared for that. Like, share, subscribe across all of your platforms. Send in your messages and guest suggestions. If we can make it work, we'll definitely have them on. If it lines up, I cannot continue to grow this show without you guys, my visionaries, man. I'm so appreciative that you gave us some time today. You know how it goes. There's absolutely no miracle that happens without somebody doing something. We'll see you either at the top or from the top. The choice is yours, man. DB, thank you for joining the show, sir.
Salute, man. Appreciate your time, brother.